My entitled in-laws expect me to be their slave. My husband and I live with his parents. His father had major health issues and needed care, so we agreed to move in to help out. My father-in-law is generally doing better now. We've discussed moving out, but my in-laws are very resistant to the idea, stating that there's plenty of room here and they don't know what they'd do without us. While we don't pay his parents to live here, we pay for groceries for everyone and several household bills. I also do all the household cleaning and cooking. I arrange and take all their pets to their veterinary appointments too. I do work from home, so this is easier for me, and as I'm able to be flexible. We also pay half of any house modifications and upgrades, as it'll be your house one day. Recently I have begun to feel resentful of the fact that once they are all done with work they can come home and relax, whereas I finish work and have to cook and clean and have no help. This all came to a head last week. I was really unwell and wanted nothing more than to sleep. However, once it got around to dinner time, I was woken by my mother-in-law to ask when I was getting up to make dinner. I didn't want to cause an argument, so I just got up and made dinner for them, but as I was in the kitchen struggling not to pass out, the three of them sat watching a movie, waiting for me to bring in their food. I didn't say anything at first. I waited until my husband and I were alone to bring up my concerns with the lack of help. My husband apologized and offered to help more, which I accepted, but the next day was an exact repeat. I had to drag myself out of bed to cook, and once I'd brung in their food, my mother-in-law said, "Oh, you look truly awful. Poor you. Oh, by the way, later would you mind giving everywhere an extra clean? I don't want to get whatever you have," at which point I accused them of treating me like a live-in maid and not caring about me outside of the services I provide for them. I pointed out that I wouldn't be in the communal areas if I hadn't been dragged out to cook. My husband sat there in silence. He told me later that night I was being extremely disrespectful and out of line. He said that I should consider myself lucky that they don't start charging me rent since I won't help out. That gave me an idea. My entitled in-laws expect me to be their slave. I started putting my wages into my own bank account. I removed all of my savings from our joint savings account, and transferred everything from my own safety account, just in case. This turned out to be the best decision because I found out I was pregnant roughly 2 weeks after the argument. I'd been told at 15 that due to some medical conditions I'd never be able to get pregnant naturally, so it was a complete shock. Once I had a scan to check everything was okay, we told my in-laws, and this is what gave me the final shove I needed. Immediately names were being thrown around, and my mother-in-law started talking about early retirement so she could be around to raise the baby. This rubbed me completely the wrong way. I didn't want anyone else raising my baby. Colors for the nursery and my baby's religion were all being discussed, but never with me. My opinions were not being taken into consideration, and within a week I felt as though I was just an incubator. The final straw happened when myself and my husband's family went shopping. I had been looking at different kinds of honker pumps before being told that I would be bottle feeding so everyone could help out. I didn't want to cause a scene in the middle of the shop, so I moved on to outfits, but everything I picked up or looked at was either the wrong color or style or something. I picked out one outfit, which would be my first baby purchase, and mother-in-law snatched it out of my hands before I could pay, telling me that it was the wrong sort of outfit. It wasn't gender neutral enough, and if the baby is a boy like we're hoping, then it's far too feminine. I didn't need to be told what I could and couldn't dress my own child in, nor did I appreciate the suggestion that they would all prefer a boy, let alone being told how I would be feeding my child. So, I left. I tried talking to my husband on 3 separate occasions, and he either made excuses or blew me off entirely. I couldn't handle it anymore. I packed my bags and went to stay with my sister for a week. My husband called once and asked me to go home. Once. I made it clear I wouldn't be returning to live in that house, that I would raise the baby on my own if he didn't want to leave, but I would not allow my child to be raised in such a toxic environment. No surprise, he stayed put. After that I got spammed with texts in the family group chat, but I left and deleted them all. I've started the divorce process, and hopefully, as I've saved all the disgusting messages from my ex and his family about both myself and my baby, they won't get any form of custody. Although, since I announced the gender, they've all gone quite silent. My baby's a girl.